Well, hello.
Hi,
I'm Caroline.
I'm Lillian.
Nice to meet you. Come on in and have a seat. Make yourself comfortable. Okay. How was your ride here?
Very short,
Well, very good. Very good. Okay, well, I appreciate you coming here for the interview, and we're going to go through some interview questions, and then I will open it up at the end for you to ask any questions that you may have for me. So tell me, why are you currently looking for a new position?
I'm just interested in going out and doing a human resource position that would make me, as a senior in high school, I really don't have a lot of skills yet, but just to get out there and get a good base start.
Good, good, okay. So what interests you in HR? Why did you choose HR as a profession to go into?
As in the management process, human resources is pretty important because they have to manage all the employees, and that it's just a good starting and somewhere to go up and eventually get a higher position hopefully.
Right. Good, okay. So, do you know anything about Swine Graphics? Have you?
I do. I know that it's a food production, and when I was younger, my father owned a pig farm, and we spent time there, but that's about all I know.
Good, good, okay. Good, okay. So, as far as skill set, what skills do you think that you can bring to an HR position here at Swine Graphics?
I think that I can bring managing people. I like to get to know people, not just know their faces, but know them on a personal level, and know what their weaknesses and strengths are, so that they can better apply themselves and do a better job at what they can and can't do.
Right. Good.
So not just to show up, but to actually apply themselves and be passionate about what they want to do.
Excellent, excellent answer. Okay. What qualities do you think that a successful HR manager should have? In your own mind, what do you think this position would look like?
I think that they should be an understanding person. They need to know that everybody has a bad day, and they can't hold everybody to unreasonable expectations. And I think that they need to know that they have to be nice to everybody, but they can't be so nice that it's going to hurt the company eventually. They need to know when to cut the strings, basically.
So fairness, you're
Yeah.
looking for fairness, good. Okay.
And they, of course, need to be organized, because you can't do a good job if you're not organized.
Absolutely. Okay. So have you ever held a position before? Have you ever held a job or anything like that?
I did this past summer. I did a short internship with the Joni Ernst campaign, and I got to do a lot of hands-on activities to that. And I spent lots of time with I'm in 4-H, so I have show cattle, and I spend lots of time with that. And then I've been kind of a venting person, you can say, for my father, and help him make some of his business decisions, and kind of just got an ear full of that and good learning from there.
Right, good. Okay. So you worked on the campaign for Joni Ernst. That's really kind of cool. That's a good experience. So you've worked with other people. Why do you think that people like to work with you?
I think people would like to work with me because I don't want to sit back and just kind of let everything fall apart. I want it to be perfect. I don't want to have a project go unfinished or half done. And I'm a good leader. I like to stand up and take the role as the leader and make sure everybody is doing their part of their work. And if they're not, they get told that, and me and them would figure out a solution to finish it.
Right. Good. Good. Okay. As far as with this position, taking on a new role and committing to an employer, what do you value in an employer? What do you want to see your employer provide to you? What's important to you?
I think it's important to have an employer be passionate about what they do. As management, they need to be able to sit at the top top and say, we need to enforce all these guidelines, and if they don't do those guidelines themselves, then it's kind of just leaving the employees as a, you can do whatever you want.
So kind of walk the walk.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's important for them to, they need to have their like own boundaries of working too much or working too little.
Mhm.
And showing their employees and finding a happy medium and just setting a good example for everybody.
Yeah, good, good. If you can describe to me or tell me about your computer experience as far as what applications you've used, Microsoft Office or Word or Excel, how would you rate yourself on your computer skills?
I rate myself pretty highly.
Mm-hmm.
I use Microsoft Word, word processing a lot,
Mm-hmm.
and I am not as familiar with Excel,
Yeah.
but I could become very familiar with it fast.
Absolutely.
And the new word processing program, Microsoft 13,
Mm-hmm.
I have used some of it, but it's still a little foreign to me.
Right. Okay. Word is always very important
Yes.
in any HR position, so that's a good foundation. If you can learn that and master that, you can pick up everything else
Yeah.
very easily, so good. How do you keep yourself organized? How do you organize appointments, your day, activities?
Well, daily I carry around a daily planner,
Mm-hmm.
and I might not write everything down day to day because a high school schedule is pretty basic.
Yeah.
But I write down in the monthly part of the calendar every event. So I have all of my like basketball games, all of my like 4-H meetings,
Mhm.
activities my family does, and I just try to make sure everything is laid out so I can just look at everything, not just memorize it.
Right. Yeah, I was gonna say, when we try and memorize it, it's like, okay, I got it, and then 10 minutes later,
Then
it's
you
like,
forget.
where was I supposed to go? Okay. What would be a key strength that you would bring to any organization, and one area that you feel personally you'd like to improve in?
In Swine Graphics specifically,
In HR,
Okay.
or for Swine Graphics.
I think I would be good at just, it's kind of difficult question for me to
Yeah.
answer
Mhm.
because I haven't studied HR as in depth. But I know I'd like to be one of the people that leads and directs and says that these are the rules for employees to follow, and these are the regulations
Yep.
from the state, and you have to do this, and just making sure that those laws aren't broken, because lots of problems you run into if you break those laws. And
So you're looking more towards the legal end of it? Because, I mean, there's so many different avenues that you
There
can
is.
go through. You can go through staffing, training and development, focus on legal issues and legal matter and compliance. So
Right.
what area do you feel is your,
I would say more like a legal or compliance area, and it kind of just all amazes me.
it's a lot of fun. I know.
Yeah.
Sounds corny, but it is a lot of fun.
I think it is.
Okay, good. Let's see here. How do you feel that you handle stress or pressure?
I feel I handle it pretty well. For example, I'm taking 2 online classes this year, and I kind
Is that for
of,
college credit?
well, one's for college credit, one's for high school credit class. And I kind of procrastinated, and we're coming to the end of the semester, and I have the pressure and stress to continue getting A's in the class.
Right.
And I just need to pull through and manage my time even better to complete it.
Good, good. Do you prefer to work alone, or do you prefer working in groups?
I like to work alone at times, but working in groups is always necessary. And I prefer working in a smaller group rather than a large group, because you get to hear more of what everybody says rather than one person sitting in the corner not really doing anything.
Right, right, good. Okay. Let's say during your high school career, or maybe this year so far, if you can tell me a challenging situation that you've had to work through or overcome, and what was the end result?
Wow. Well, I'll use a 4-H example. I took 2 chairs and made them into a bench. And that was very difficult because I'm not very tool savvy, like a power drill.
Yeah, yeah.
And I went out and I looked for somebody who could teach me how to use those tools properly and in the correct safety.
Mhm.
And I ended up taking that bench that I made to State Fair and overcame all the hurdles that I had.
Right. Good. So you were successful in the end.
Yeah, I was
Good for
successful.
you. Okay. So those are the questions that I have, and I'm going to open it up to you to ask away any questions that you may have for me about the position or company or anything like that.
Well, as I'm looking for what I want to do in my life, I don't know which route of business I want to take or where to start. Why should I start with human resources?
Well, at the end, you would want to be an HR manager working in compliance, like legal compliance issues. I mean, my recommendation would always be that if you have a passion for people, I would always go in, you can do a major in business, you can always major in HR or industrial psychology. I would definitely recommend starting out and getting your PHR sooner than later, because most companies are going to ask for a PHR certificate. That's your professional HR certificate through HRCI. That gives you a really good foundation of all aspects of HR and will tell you, based on the testing, which area are your strengths. And you may find that, you know what, the compliance is great, but wow, I like training, or I like labor relations. So that is a huge recommendation, is to look into getting that PHR. And you can do that, you know, during your schooling or right after your schooling. But, I mean, it's a necessary profession. I don't think HR people will always be needed, will definitely always be needed.
Okay. What's a typical day like for you?
Wow. Typical day is a lot of phone calls and making lists, and it will always be being able to roll with it. You will always have distractions. You will always have fires that you have to put out. You will have your day planned of things that you need to get done, that you always have to be in the mindset of that phone is going to ring, and, you know, it could be a teammate that got hurt, or it could be a teammate that, you know, is having a bad day and you have to help them, or you have to arrange for medical care because someone was injured, or, you know, you have to schedule interviews right away because someone resigned. So in the ag industry, we're notorious for very high turnover, so you're always having to kind of plan ahead and make sure that you have a bench of people ready to come into work. So notorious for high turnover. So, and like I said, no day is the same, but planning, scheduling, writing things down is just very important and will keep you sane. And when you can cross things off your list. Okay. Anything else that I can answer for you?
I think that's all I have.
Okay, well, thank you so much for coming in today, and I
Thank
will
you.
walk you through this one. Speaking to you.
Pleasure.
Thank you.
Round of applause.